Hello, beautiful students. Today is Tuesday, March 10th, 2020. My name is Brittany Teacher, and we are going to do our TED Talk lesson. Today we're going to work on pages 132 and 133. We're going to do a short essay project, and I'm going to guide you through some brainstorming points to help you come up with what to say. Before we do that though, let's start on page 132. I want to plant a tree. This is where we watched the last part of Chang's TED Talk, where she talks about her artwork and how it works in the community. In the next segment, Chang describes what she learned from the project. Read this excerpt and predict the missing words. Check your ideas as you watch the talk. These hopes and dreams made me, out loud, tear up, and they consoled me during my own tough times. It's about knowing you're not alone. It's about understanding our something in new and enlightening ways. It's about making something for reflection and contemplation, and remembering what really matters most to us as we something and change. Think about what you might hear and try to guess the words that go in these blanks. Maybe you're right, maybe you're not. It's okay either way, but thinking about what you might hear will help you understand more when you are ready to listen. So think first, pause this video, fill out this paragraph, and then watch the second half of Chang's talk. Hit play again when you're ready to continue. Okay, were your answers correct? If you're not, that's okay. Again, just fix the answers and write them in the blanks instead. Recognizing the speaker's point of view. Read the excerpt from Chang's TED Talk. How does she feel about public spaces? Choose the two best endings for the statement below. Together, we've shown how powerful our public spaces can be if we're given the opportunity to have a voice and share more with one another. Our shared spaces can better reflect what matters to us as individuals and as a community. And with more ways to share our hopes, fears, and stories, the people around us can not only help us make better places, they can help us lead better lives. She thinks our public spaces should what? A, make our lives better. B, be good for business. C, show what we think is important. Or D, be protected by the government. You can choose two answers for this. Pause the video and answer by yourself. Then hit play when you're ready. Okay, if you chose A and C, you are correct. Critical thinking, synthesizing. Is there an area near where you live that could benefit from art projects like Chang's? Give reasons for your ideas. Okay, I want you to do synthesizing because this is related to your project that we are going to work on together. Think about your town, your neighborhood, your city. Think about the area around your home. Think about the area around your school. Think about Daegu, think about Namgu, Suseong-gu, Bomo. It doesn't matter. Where do you live? Where do you work? Where do your friends live? Where do you go to school? And think about if those areas could be better any way possible. Could they function better? Meaning, could the infrastructure be better? Could the public transportation be better? Could it be more beautiful? Could it be more interactive? Could it be more helpful to you in some way? Is there anything you wish you had that you don't have? Is there anything that you wish you could change? Imagine you had a magic wand that could only do something to improve your neighborhood. If you could wave that wand and change one thing, what would it be? Think about this while you pause the video and just try and come up with as many ideas as you can. What would I change about my neighborhood? How could I make my neighborhood better? How could I make my town or city more beautiful? What do I wish was different about my neighborhood? Anything. And then hit play when you're ready to continue. Okay, applying. Complete the sentence about you. Before I die. This should be pretty easy because we started this unit with this question. Did you think about what you wanted to do before you die? You can just write the short answer of this, the short version of this answer here. Before I die, I want to use my farm to feed the hungry. I want to have an orchard that grows lots of fruit, and I want to raise and pick that fruit, and I want to turn it into delicious pies and cakes and jams and jellies, and I want to give it to people who are hungry. That's what I want to do before I die. What about you? Okay. Explore more. Watch Chang's complete TED Talk. What else did you learn from her talk? I encourage you to watch the whole TED Talk again at least one more time from start to finish. That will help you think about your project more, okay? And then you don't have to talk about it with your class, obviously, because you're by yourself, but you should try to think about any other lessons you learned from Chang. One lesson I learned from Chang, she talks about how she was very sad when her friend died and it changed her life forever. One lesson I learned from her is that we should be very grateful for our friends because we don't know when we might lose them. Okay, let's continue on to page 133. Work in small groups. You're going to conduct a survey about how to improve your community. Okay, now obviously you are by yourselves, so you cannot interview your classmates, but I do want you to interview your parents. I want you to ask them, how do they think our community could improve? Remember, the word community means your neighborhood, your town, your city, your country, okay? You try to keep it small. Don't think about Korea on a big scale. Think about Daegu, Susangu, and your neighborhood, okay? Create a list of questions you want to ask. Brainstorm ideas about things that people often don't like about their communities. For example, abandoned buildings, graffiti, crime, and noise. Okay, if we think first about what we don't like, I can tell you right now, I don't like it when we put our trash on the street. I think it's ugly and dirty and it attracts rats, and I think I would want to improve Daegu by having public trash cans and recycling bins on the street instead. That's my opinion. Or if not trash cans, something else. A square, a dumpster, a pit, something, maybe a covered hole in the ground where we could drop our trash and cover it with a lid. That way animals don't get in and it doesn't smell and it's not ugly. That's my opinion. What about you? Can you think of something that's ugly about your neighborhood? Can you think of something that doesn't work well in your neighborhood? Can you think of something that, again, if you could just wave a magic wand and fix it, what would you fix? It could be anything. It could be, you know, the way the buildings look, or the noises you hear, or the public transportation problem, or, you know, maybe it's not that you have a problem. Maybe it's that you wish that we had something more. Like, for example, some people feel like, oh, how about this? I wish we had more parks. I wish we had more green places to go and sit and relax and enjoy a concert. I don't live near a park. It's really hard for me to find one. I can't walk to a park or a green place near me, and I wish that there was one. Okay, So I want you to think about problems you have in your neighborhood. You can think of things that you want to change, like ugly things, or things you want to add, things you don't have. Ask your parents, what would you change? What is missing? What do you hate? What do you like? Ask them, interview them, see what they say. Choose one of these ideas and write questions to ask your parents about why they don't like their community, what they don't like about their community. Okay, so you can ask questions like, do you think our neighborhood is perfect? What would you change about Namgu or Daegu or Susangu? What would you do? What would you miss about Daegu if you moved somewhere else? This can show you what they value, okay? What do you miss about other places where you've lived, okay? If you've lived somewhere else before, you can compare Daegu to Namgu. You can compare where you've lived before to Daegu. You can think, oh, I used to live here, and we had blah, 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 and that was really good. But here we don't have those things, and I wish we did, okay? For example, in America, there are really big grocery stores that have, I don't know, there are more grocery stores that are closer to you that have more variety of foods, okay? So I would bring those to Daegu if I could. Ask your classmates or ask your parents and find more details. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to write an essay. I want 3 paragraphs, 1 page, at least 10 to 15 sentences. I want an introduction, body, and conclusion about your community. You can say what I would change about my community. You should first begin by interviewing your parents or family members. You should ask them, what would you change? And why? You should try to ask them things like, what do you like about our neighborhood? What do you not like? You should compare Daegu to other places that you've lived. If you've lived other places, are other cities better at certain things than Daegu? Do you think your city, your town, or your neighborhood could be more beautiful? Do you think that it could function differently? Remember, we have 2 different categories of change. You could either write something about how it could be more beautiful, like my idea with the trash. Daegu would be more beautiful if there wasn't trash in the street. Or the parks. Daegu would be more beautiful if there were more parks and more green places where we could listen to music outside. Okay? Or you could talk about how Daegu could function better, meaning that there's something that doesn't work well in the city. So, for example, you could talk about maybe how there are some places in Daegu that you can't travel to by subway or by bus because the buses and subways don't go there, maybe, and you want to change that. So think about beauty or function. Which do you want to change more? Okay, so your introduction should be something like, I think Daegu is very beautiful, but it could function better by having blah, blah, blah. Or, I think Daegu functions very well, but I wish it was more beautiful. We could make Daegu more beautiful by doing blah, 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 okay? Ask your parents, what would they change and why? What do they like? What do they not like? Think about Daegu in comparison with other cities and countries. How could you make it more beautiful? How could you make it function better? Okay? Then I want you to think about your own opinion. Okay? So this is the first paragraph. Interview your parents. Your own opinion. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with your parents? Do you have a different idea? Tell me why, okay? Tell me why you think your parents' idea is good or not. Tell me what you think about instead of your parents. Do your parents have different ideas than you? If they do, that's okay. You're allowed to disagree, but I want you to come up with your own ideas. For example, you might say, my parents wish that we had a better hospital close to our house, but I don't care about that. I think we should have more ice cream shops, like this, okay? When you are thinking about your project, remember what Chang did. In Candy Chang's TED Talk, she took something ugly, an abandoned building that everyone hated, and she turned it into interactive art. She put a sentence on the building that said, before I die, I want to blah, blah, blah. Okay? Try to think about it like that. Is there something about your city that you think you could change and make it better? How? Could you make it more artistic? What do you think would be, how do you think your community would benefit from these changes? Okay? These are the questions I want you to answer in your essay. Remember, at least 10 sentences, 10 to 15 sentences. Introduction, body, conclusion. First interview your parents, then tell me your own idea. Think about how you could improve your community, okay? That is the end of our lesson for today. I look forward to reading your essays. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.